Hey there, tubers. This is Elite Handyman 911 coming to you. Today we installed a trim kit for a Symmons tub and shower. The problem is this valve's so deep in the wall, the diverter won't reach and the handle won't turn because it's too close to the wall. This is a common problem when contractors put the valves too deep in the wall. Luckily enough, Symmons makes an extension kit that works with their Temptrol valves. These are the parts that come in the extension kit, and depending on what trim you get, you may or may not need all of these. We're going to use most of these, but I'm not using this little washer, little screw, and I'm not using these 3 screws. I'm pulling this cartridge out just so I can show you close up the parts that I am altering here. It is a good idea to turn off the water whether you take this valve out of the wall or not. We're replacing this piece right here because it's too short for the escutcheon to grab onto. We're going to have to elongate that spindle as well. So when you unscrew this little piece here, it's going to expose a rubber bushing inside that holds water in. That's why you want the water shut off. We're replacing it with this longer sleeve. And although you can thread it in either direction, the little cutouts for the wrench are only on one side. So it's pretty obvious which end goes in first. We're going to tighten this up. And once we get this on, you're going to notice that the spindle is now too short. There's nothing for the handle to connect to. So we're going to add that spindle extension to this. In this case, we're going to screw it on with a screw that holds it in place because our trim kit has a set screw on the side instead of the center. I'm just going to pop this cartridge back in and torque it down. And we're going to put the handle on and test the resistance. That one's not quite tight enough, so we're going to tighten this a little bit more on the bushing, which will give it a little more resistance. Too tight, it's too hard to turn. Too loose, it'll leak water through the center. It's meant to be adjustable. Adjust it properly. Now for the diverter, that diverter is too short. It won't even activate the diverter, so we need to lengthen that rod. Now here's the thing. You need to cut it to whatever length you need. We're going to measure 3 times, a couple different ways, and then we're going to cut it. Because you don't cut the extension kit, you cut the actual lever. So that diverter lever, you get 1 chance to cut it to the right length. You do have about a 1/4 inch of leeway, maybe 3/8 of an inch, but you got to be pretty precise, and that collar needs to fit closer to the inside. So once we get that on, we're putting this mounting plate on with the escutcheon in place so it lines up. When you take the escutcheon off, hopefully that piece doesn't come out, but it did for us. We'll have to figure that out later. Now we can pop on the cover plate for that trim, and that center escutcheon is going to screw back in. This time we're going to have to readjust it because it did come out, that center collar, and make sure that the handle has the right resistance again. But the great thing is the diverter reaches, the handle now has enough space, and everything just looks a lot better. Now it's really hard to get the set screw on upside down, but since we turn the water off, we can just open the valve all the way and look at it from the top. Much easier to do it this way. Hey guys, if you're still watching, please do me a favor, give me a thumbs up and do a subscribe if you like our content. I'm gonna make sure this handle's on nice and tight. The finish of this trim kit is really nice and matte black. It doesn't hold fingerprints, which I'm really impressed with, and it really kind of modernizes this bathroom. We're gonna adjust the high temperature setting, make sure it's safe for the client. And here we have the finished product. It's a great way to modernize a bathroom. By the way, that shower rod is not Symmons, but I'll put a link down below. Please let us know any questions in the comments on what you want to see.